Traci Lynn Ministries. I am so glad that you have joined us. I am your host, Dr. Lynn, and still in sunny Florida with a live audience. I tell you, I am in empowerment mode. I had a convention this past weekend with some phenomenal people, and I want to share that with you watching. I want you to be empowered. I want you to be motivated, inspired, and we want to change your life. So I brought with me 5 dynamic women. In our business, it's called the Diamond Club. And I wanted them to share with you some of the secrets of success. Some of you out there are right there on the edge of doing some great things, and you just need somebody to come by and give you that one thing, that one nugget that you have been missing. And I have brought the ladies for you, because they are going to give you that nugget to help you move to the next level. And in our business, I tell you what, we believe in a lifestyle change. How many of you saints out there, you're watching right now, you know you believe God to pay the water bill, gas bill, and baby need a new pair of shoes. I know. You believe God for those things, but we've got to believe God for the entire Bible, the principles of success, that we should be the head and not the tail, that we should be the lenders and not the borrowers. So I have a group of women who believe God. They believe for those very things, and they're going to help us. Sometimes we need to get free from a bondage, a stronghold that would say that we can't do it, we can't have it. I remember somebody called the broadcast on my 800 number to tell me, why are you talking about God? And I'm saying, why are you calling my 800 number that I'm paying for? Why are you talking about finances? Really, God desires that we all prosper and be in health as our soul prospers. So we're going to talk about that today. Prosperity God's way with some of God's women. And I'm going to start off with you. We call her T-Row Pro, Teresa Michelle, Teresa Rolack Proctor. All right. Teresa, you and I mean, we've been in business together here, and what I love about you in business, I'm always on your Facebook page. You always got something motivational for the people, always something deep. I mean, you go real deep. You have to just, when you read your stuff, you just snap and say, Selah. Yeah. Deep. You go real deep. What is it like to balance your faith and your business, your mother, you're a newlywed? I mean, all of those things, and you have to balance that in business, and yet you still always look so fabulous, and you get it done. So what is the secret to that?
Well, Dr. Lynn, first I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity. I tell you, that the balance it can be a challenge. It can be a challenge sometimes, but I believe that once you understand that you really do have an assignment, I'll take you back. Before I joined the business, Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry, I kind of had an idea of what my purpose is, but I never really pursued it. You know, I never really got down deep into it. And my spiritual father, he gave me a word and told me that, you know, my words will be to women in particular would be bred to my home. And so I said, well, I don't like speaking in front of anyone, so surely that could not be me. You know, I'm just not that type of person that wants to be on stage or what have you. And so then I joined the opportunity, and then I found out that you had to do public speaking. I almost ran, because I knew that this is not me. It's just not me. And I really felt like I was stuck. I really felt like I was stuck and without any knowledge, not knowing what is the next step, what is the direction for my life. But I met a lady by the name of Dr. Traci Lynn. Thank you, Lord. And you helped me to uncover when you think about ministry and also business, it's marketplace ministry. Because it's sin to live in lack. It's sin, right?
Yes.
And so immediately, well, I take that back. When you hear yourself not telling the truth, you got to take it back. So it wasn't immediately.
Okay.
But after some time, I begin to move my own self out of the way. Because a lot of times we like to, especially women, we like perfection. So if it can't be perfect, we don't want to do it.
That's right.
Right? And we like to shine.
Yes.
And so we feel like, well, we can't shine, we don't want to do it, right? But we're still human.
Yes.
And so then I understood that I could not really truly benefit and be rewarded from operating in someone else's purpose. And practicing, and it's a crime, really. And I think about it as like purpose plagiarism. When you try to continue to do something else that is like what you said in your book, The Non-Millionaire, tilling someone else's land.
Exactly.
Right? And so then when I understood, Teresa, this is a part of your assignment. To begin to impact the lives of others through the platform that Dr. Lynn has given you. That just opened the doors and closed the door on fear and just not being, and not operating in someone that was not me. Because a lot of times we think, well, you know what, I'm just going to stay right here. I'm going to stay on the job. And I've been working with this company for at least 12 years. And I enjoyed the company. I enjoyed what I did in public relations. It was a great company. But I knew that was not my assignment. I was being validated, but I was not being validated by God. And that's more important.
Amen.
We should not seek man's approval. We know that. But we should seek the approval of God. And then immediately I shared that with you. Dr. Lynn, the job is great, but I know that there's more for me. And you shared with me, well, set the date. Said, what are you waiting for? Set the date. And I was like, it's really not that easy. But you need someone like that in your life that can really challenge you and propel you to move forward so that you can unfasten who you were destined to be. And so I said, okay, I'm going to set the date. So I set the date. And then that date came. And that date passed. And I was still there.
I remember.
On the job. But I didn't give up.
Amen.
I didn't give up. So I set another date. And that date, before this date came, I did a little bit more. Because faith without works is dead. So this time I set the date and gave my company 4 months notice. Now that's setting the date with intention. Indeed. 4 months. Because that day when I was in a meeting, I just knew, I said, my mind was here, my body was here, but my mind was somewhere else. I said, you know what, there has got to be more. And that day where I sat before the HR to do my exit interview, and I handed over the keys to the company car, the BlackBerry, the laptop, and everything, I was just like, this is really happening. Because of the introduction to Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry.
Powerful. Powerful. Woo! That is powerful. Powerful. And it has to get to that place that there has to be more to life than this. I know when I started sleeping on my job in the middle of the day, I knew I was in the wrong place. And there had to be more. I was only 25 and sleeping on the job already. That there had to be more to life than this. Now I'm going to go over to Lovey Whitfield. Levito, Lovey Whitfield, how are you?
Outstanding.
I've had you on the broadcast before. So many women were inspired by your story. I heard a story actually yesterday about someone who heard your story and acted upon it and actually joined up in the company as a result of that. So and came to our convention.
Yes.
Incredible from your story. So these stories make a difference. So tell us your story of success. How did you get here?
Well, thank you again, Dr. Lynn. And I can speak on behalf of Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry how much we love you. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to create a story. Oftentimes, just like Teresa was saying, you think one roadmap is destined for you, but not necessarily. I always had a desire to work with women. Didn't know why. Maybe because of my desire, my story of watching my mother work with me. I knew there was something that I wanted to do for other people, that eventually, that if I can help empower and impact them, then I can grow and be empowered. And I also was introduced to Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry by way of a necklace. I saw the necklace around the young lady's neck. I couldn't focus on the lunch date. I just said, what's that around your neck? And I did not realize that a necklace with a heart changed my life. Actually, it was a key and a heart, opened up the door for me. And from that point on, I've never looked back. So I want to tell all of the people that's out there watching, there is something that's in you. Connect to someone that can help open the door. I know you may work at 9 to 5 and doing extremely well, 6, 7 figures. If you're falling asleep on a job, just like Dr. Lynn said, that might not be the one for you. Evict fear. Evict fear. It has resided in us too long. It has taken up too much space. See, they have taught us that we have to work a 9 to 5 just to make ends meet. But I was told by a doctor that ends never meet. Dr. Lynn said ends will never meet. So therefore, it's time to take matters into your own hand. Watching my mother, single parent, may she rest in peace. When my father passed away, she had an opportunity to receive a settlement. And he asked her this question. The lawyer said, well, young lady, I'm going to give you so many dollars. What would you like to do with it? Would you like to buy a beautiful car or a fur coat? Immediate insult. When my mother said, I'm going to take that money because their father died, and I'm going to invest, and I'm going to give them a shelter, roof over their head. And as I was growing up, I said, never again will she have to work that hard. So I had to do something. So that very house that she raised 3 children alone is now taken care of by way of Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry. So people out there, I'm telling you right now, you don't have to wait for a tragedy to happen before you make up your decision. Make up your mind right now. The time is now. And that's what this business is going to give you an opportunity to be proactive. You don't have to wait till you're in that situation to come out kicking and screaming, uppercutting, scratching. No, no, no. Do it right now, because with this business, with the ministry of this business attached to so many people, we can change, and we are changing lives of so many. And Dr. Lynn, I'm the first partaker of this, and my daughter, my son, they see it, and I know generations gonna come by and watch and say, look what my mother decided to do. Evict fear. It has resided too long. I got rid of it, I got connected, and I said yes, and it all started by a necklace around somebody's neck. So Dr. Lynn, I thank you so very much. Thank you for all that you do for so many of us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I am going to, I'm going to go on to number 4. And, excuse me, not number 4, number 7. That's where I'm going. I'm going to number 7. I only have a few people in the business. Matter of fact, just 2 people who have those lower numbers, who are still here making it happen in the business. But I got to tell you about my number 7. 7, completion. Yes, indeed. Nothing like that Charlene Madison. Charlene Johnson Madison. I've known her a long time. Went to her wedding when she became a Madison. And Charlene has been with me with that number 7. And then you look at, Teresa, what's your company number? 388. So we got 388. A lot of you have lower numbers, but nobody has those kind of numbers. That's number 7. Charlene Madison, a Diamond Executive Vice President within Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry. And I got to tell you, Charlene, I know you've got a story to tell. And what I enjoy about working with you is that you still listen. You still listen. And not only do you listen, you take the information. When I give you feedback, even if it's feedback that you may not want to hear, instead of trying to help me to see your side of it, you take it and then you keep bringing it back to me. Dr. Lynn, so-and-so and so-and-so, and that lets me know you heard it. Not only did you hear it, but you processed it. Because when you process it, you work it. So as you're listening to these stories, remember, these are things that we have to process. So tell us your story. That's my armor bearer too, y'all. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lynn, and studio audience as well. First, giving honor to the Lord. You know, that is the head of my life. You know, I take it not robbery to be the armor bearer and to have the ability to be spoken into. I mean, like you said, so many people will hear a word and retreat. But part of the growing process is to process that within yourself and be able to go to the next level. And I thank you so much for doing that, because a lot of times people will sit back and watch you go through the process and not help you along. And that's what we're here for as well, to not only the partners in the company, but also to those out there looking for hope. That's what it's all about. Not only the hope financially, but the hope of the Lord Jesus Christ. And so, you know, it's so funny that, you know, when we come together and we talk as a group, phenomenal women, we were able to travel to Mexico and get even closer and closer. But when you hear the story, it's so much the same. We all different, but it's so much the same. I had, some years ago, God had showed me a vision on a stage talking to women. I didn't know what it was. I really, you know, I thought, and of course with the calling on my life, the first thing you think is, you know, you're gonna be preaching. And so I went through the training, went through the process, because, you know, when you have the zeal but not the knowledge, you know, you wanna get that training. And, you know, began to see that, you know, we put God in a box and we think that he can only minister in one way. And he said, no, this is a ministry. And I look at it as an opportunity to not only help women financially and give them that opportunity, as well as men, but that we have an opportunity to be able to minister, because it is so many people that are hurting, so many people that are going through different things, that the jewelry is the opportunity that attracts them. And then we have the opportunity to talk to them so much about so much more. But when I first met you, and I also have different visions that I can remember from so long ago, but I can remember sitting in the stairwell at that first showroom. We used to have a showroom before we went national and had a distribution center. And I was just looking up at you, and I said, here is somebody that is doing exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to minister to people, but I also wanted to make some money. And you know, we think sometimes that they can't come together, but you bridge that gap. You brought business street. We have that term, we use it, and you showed that we could do both. And I was always taught, you know, you do one or the other, and just to be able to merge them and to be able to go across the country and talk to people, not only about the opportunity, but also to talk to them about the goodness of the Lord. You know, it's just phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
And the journey, like you said, the journey has been, it will be 8 years in February for me, and people see, they see the numbers, they see, you know, different things, and they think, like you said, sometimes they can blink and it can happen, but it's a process.
It is a process.
And if you get it too soon, you won't be able to keep it. We all have to walk out our process. And I thank God for my process and my learning, and I know this is not the end. There will be a lot more learning to go, because I'm going to be here for a while.
Yes, indeed.
But when you continue to open your mind and your heart to learn and have a heart for the people, I believe the sky's the limit.
All right, thank you, thank you. All right, oh my God. We are just getting it in. And can you believe, oh, I don't want to be out of time, but I'm going to go over to Janet Cooper Pitts. I tell you what, Janet Cooper Pitts, top sales. Top sales. Top sales. She just got inducted to our $500,000 club. She sold, first person ever inducted into the club, the $500,000 club. There is a $1 million club. So she was the first one inducted into the $500,000 club. She sold over $500,000 worth of jewelry. And also, she is in the Diamond Club, which means that you've got the best of both worlds working for you. You're a top seller and also top commission earner. So that's money working together. That's some kingdom stuff right there. Woo! So tell us about that. How did you make that happen?
The way that I define what I've been able to accomplish is in 4 letters, W-O-R-K. You gotta work.
You gotta work. I love that.
You gotta work.
Yes.
And you gotta be able to understand that you can't get anything in life. God is not gonna bless anything that you don't put your hands and your mind and your love and your prayer and your commitment to.
Yes.
So I love the Lord with everything that I have.
Yes.
And if I may, Dr. Lynn, I'd like to share just a brief part of my story. I am a stage 3 breast cancer survivor that the doctors said would not make it.
Wow.
I just celebrated 10 years. But 4 doctors gave me a year to a year and a half to live. And I listened and I heard what they said. But I told my husband, we're going to the 5th doctor. And it wasn't until we walked into the 5th doctor's office and I was crying. Of course, I was very emotional at that point in time because I have at that time I had 2 21-year-olds. I had a son and a daughter. They had not, they were dating, but they weren't married. They didn't have their own households yet. And I knew that there was more. So the doctors told me, you know what, we're gonna slow down this process. We're gonna run every single test that we have and figure out the best course of treatment for you before we pronounce anything. So I begged God to spare my life so that I could see my grandchildren. And I'll say again, at that point, my children were 21. They weren't married. They didn't have any children. So you need to find something that you want out of life.
You better come on.
In the future.
Yes.
Like in that ocean that we see.
Yes.
You see an ocean.
Yeah, I see it.
And water straight ahead outside these beautiful windows. You gotta find something that is so far that you may not be able to even see right now that is gonna make you fight with everything that you have to live. So I begged God to do that for me, and I promised him that if he spared my life, that I would share my story, and that I would help to inspire women to hold on, to fight with everything that you have for what you believe God for in your future. And he has, when he introduced me to this opportunity, I knew, as well as I'm sitting here today, and I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be helping to inspire women to change their lives, not just for yourself, but for your children, your grandchildren, and the ones that come after that, and that, and that. Even the women that you don't even know right now.
That's right.
And you've set a platform for us to be able to do that, to give back, to share, to love, to inspire. And your mantra is to pass the mic, to motivate, to inspire, to change lives. Thank you for that opportunity.
All right, thank you so much. I tell you what, so you know we're going to have part 2. Can you believe we are out of time? And I still have Melinda Crutchfield. Absolutely. I've got more questions. I've got more to come. So I'm going to pick it up again, viewers. Next week, I want you to join me on the next broadcast. Stay tuned. I have some announcements coming your way. But thank you for joining us, and thank you, audience, for being here. Woo! Thank you.
Thank you for your financial contributions. All donations given this month will receive a thank you gift. To order Traci Lynn products or follow Traci Lynn Ministries, please visit TraciLynnMinistries.com or contact 877-TRACILYN, 877-872-2456, P.O. Box 7020, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33338. Like us on Facebook at Traci Lynn Ministries. Follow us on Twitter at Dr. Traci Lynn. Thank you for supporting Traci Lynn Ministries. You can find this episode and past episodes on YouTube. Search Traci Lynn Ministries. You can also visit the online Traci Lynn Ministries store for featured products including Powerful Leadership Skills, Don't Break Down, Break Through, The Mind of a Millionaire, Birthing Your Vision, Build It Big, Having It All Power Pack, Money with a Mission, God's Plan for Prosperity, Seeds of Greatness Package, Stress Busters Series, Victorious Christian Finance, and many other motivational and empowering products. Thank you for your support.
Dream big, financial freedom,
lifestyle change,
additional income.
be your own boss.
If this is the life you've dreamed of, Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry is the business for you.
This business is simple. If you can wear the jewelry, you can sell the jewelry.
I've earned a $10,000 bonus check.
I'm able to earn $600 to $800 per show and more.
Visit TraciLynnJewelry.com and remember,
Behind every great woman are more great women.